Hi, welcome to this final session of Life Recovery Chats. Today we're going to be looking at step 12 of the 12 steps, and we'll go over some key points concerning it. Step 12, having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to others and to practice these principles in all our affairs. The first key point I want to make about step 12 is that you can't keep it if you're not willing to give it away. One of the wonderful things of going through the 12 steps is that you're able, once you've gone through them all and you're on the final step, you're able to go and help others who are struggling. And so if you want to keep it, you're meant to go and give it away. If you found God through this process and you found that He's changed your life, then you want to go share that with others. The next key point is that God's presence in our everyday life should be seen and experienced at this point. If you are on step 12, you should be seeing God in your life on a regular basis. You should be realizing that He's with you, that He's shown you a better path, and that should be experientially being lived out in your life, where you're able to testify to others, where you're able to tell others about the difference that God has made in your life, and that He's with you every day in every decision. Whether in your workplace, whether in your family, whether in your community of faith, wherever it is, that God is with you in those places. The next key point is that God uses your life and your past to help others deal with theirs. This is something that is a part of God's will. God desires to take our mistakes, our sins, our failures from our past and use that to springboard us to our purpose in our future. We didn't go through the things we did for no reason. We're now able to take those things and the process that we've learned in embracing God's way for a life and the healing that's come, and we're able to take that to others and to offer them hope. That there's hope for the addict, that there's hope for the people who are stuck in the pits of addiction, because we ourselves are a testimony that we were once there. And with God's help, by surrendering to His will, we were able to overcome and see a difference made in our lives. The next key point about this step is that as we share what God has done for us and in us, it keeps us thankful because we consistently remember what He has done in our lives. And this is very important because it allows thankfulness to be a driving force every day in our lives. It's so good to take time to remember the places where God has brought us from. Sometimes we can get so busy in the ins and outs of this life that we forget where we once were. Sometimes we get caught up in the struggles of the everyday, and the reality is that struggles are just an everyday part of this life. We're going to go through trials. We're going to go through struggles. But when we can remember where God has brought us from and the pits that He's brought us from and the change He's made in our lives, it helps secure it in our hearts, and it helps us to continue to walk on that narrow path that we've been walking to this point, that has allowed us to begin to have a lifestyle of freedom where we're no longer running to those same addictions to deal with the things like we used to. Another key point is that it's not just something we have done, it becomes part of who we are as a person. And I've stressed this throughout all these talks, that the 12 steps is about becoming the person that God desires you to be. You're not just simply going to be sober now and be the same person you once were. You need to be changed into a new creation. And that's the hope that we have as we embrace God and His ways, is that He will make us that new creation and that new person who learns to walk in the ways that we were created to, and who learns what it is to have healthy relationships around us. We learn how to manage ourselves and to walk in integrity, truthfulness, honesty, all those things that we've been over in previous videos. It's so great that God desires to do this in our lives and to make us this new person. And we become a person who is marked by the principles that we've learned from these steps. The final point that I want to make when it comes to step 12 is that we come into having a life with proper purpose and direction. This is probably one of the greatest things about going through the 12 steps, is that when you've completed them and you've had that spiritual awakening and God becomes the center of your life and who you are, your life is no longer this meaningless conundrum where you just go from here to there trying to seek pleasure or whatever it is that you've decided to seek. Maybe it's relief from pain, whatever it is. God gives you purpose and he gives you direction in your life. And that purpose and direction is to take that past and to use it to help people with what they're dealing with, where you can go into a meeting or you can go into a faith service or whatever it is, and you're able to share your story with others, and you're able to tell them about how God helped you and how the 12 steps helps you get your life together and overcome these demons of your past. So thank you for joining me through this process of the 12 steps. That is the last step of the 12 steps. But like I said, this 12 steps never really end because it becomes a part of who you are, and you begin to practice these things regularly in your everyday life. And God is able to take a broken and hurting past, and he's able to turn it into something that's useful, that you're able to serve others with, to see them come into a place of health and wholeness themselves. So God bless you. I hope you've enjoyed this journey, and I hope that God has done a mighty working in your life as he has done in mine. And I trust he will continue to do that as you practice these principles in all your affairs, and as you're able to reach out to others to offer them the same hope that you have found. God bless you all.